So hey guys, welcome to part two of I Like It, You Hate It. This is our first episode of trying this out on YouTube here. Our good friend Josh had to go for something urgent, so unfortunately he wasn't able to be a part of part two for this video here. But that's also, it's not too bad because I guess he didn't see all these films completely all the way through. So for the next two movies we're talking about here, it's Ghost Rider 2 and The Incredible Hulk. And so for Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance, I'll share first, why I wouldn't say like it, but why I was more tolerant over Seth. So for Ghost Rider 2, you guys, obviously, not a lot of people wanted a sequel with Ghost Rider. Um, Nicolas Cage got a lot of crap around the time. He had a lot of financial stuff that he had to take care of. For the Ghost Rider 2 film, all personal stuff aside, with all that other things with Nicolas Cage and everything, it's a sequel and it's a new director, which means that there's going to be a new direction taken with it. One thing that the directors of this film tried that I thought was really cool with this movie is they actually did a lot of practical effects and they added some of the special effects stuff later on, like the skeleton and things like that for Nicolas Cage. And in this one, we definitely see a darker side of Johnny Blaze. We see a side of him that doesn't have a romantic side, that doesn't have, he kind of, like what he stated at the beginning of the film, he doesn't save people. He's just the devil's bounty hunter and he has to do whatever the devil sends him to do. And so, he's in this business for a while. He figures out just how dark being this bounty hunter for the devil has become. And we got Idris Elba, who also was in the Thor films in this. And we had just a pretty fun adventure again with the Ghost Rider. It wasn't better than the first time around, but at the same time, though, I didn't completely destroy it like what my good friend Seth is about to do with it. So
let me just start off by saying Ghost Rider 2, it was a sequel, but did we really need another Ghost Rider film? I guess the answer could be split up in two parts. Technically yes, but if it was done right. This one unfortunately just was basically a rehash of the first. The first, I believe, just had more of a storyline, the character development. We already got an idea of the Ghost Rider, the love interest, the villain. Wasn't like technically, I think Satan was the villain, right? In both films. I think he was.
What's different about this?
He was reincarnated in both.
Well, one
films.
thing about Satan, and you have to keep in mind about Ghost Rider, is in the first film he took the form of a different person who was Peter Fonda in the first film. In this film he took the form of a different person because whenever he comes back to life from hell again.
The thing is,
Saran Hinds played.
When we already speak. You can have thousands of different actors, playing Satan, but you're basically just playing the character that's already been rehashed. We've already seen what the character, we know what he's after, and how he has this big grudge against Ghost Rider, and and I think the director of this film wasn't he the director of Crank?
It was two directors. They're two friends from a college or something, and yeah, they directed the two Crank films.
And I wasn't really big on that shaky camera movement. I felt like it was just like.
But I thought Ghost Rider 2 did better than Crank in that regard, though. I thought it avoided it when they had to.
I just thought I think they overused it way too much, and I think since they used the shaky camera movement, I almost felt like I wanted to throw up after a while because it was just my God. So I just thought it was a weak storyline. I really thought that like I said, it was a rehash. It was basically the same storyline that we saw, or I would say actually a weaker storyline from the first film, and it was just a film that we just didn't really need. There was more desert scenes, shaky camera movements, and it just really was a film that didn't need to be made. And I thought this was a perfect film and a perfect example of why, Nicolas Cage, he accepts another role just to, earn a paycheck, and I thought this one just really wasn't. Now, that's my opinion, you guys can disagree, but I just felt it was a sequel that was not needed.
Okay. Then for our next film, this is something that Seth likes and I hate it, is The Incredible Hulk, which is the Hulk film used for Phase 1. This isn't the Eric Bana one by Ang Lee. This is the one that basically was used right after the first Iron Man film that starred Edward Norton at the time, who later got replaced by Mark Ruffalo. Okay. So this is The Incredible Hulk, and it's by the director of Clash of the Titans remake, I think. Mm-hmm. So Seth's going to share why he thought the Edward Norton Hulk film was good.
For me, I thought this film definitely cleaned up the bad taste from the original Ang Lee's Hulk film, and I think it was in 2003, right?
Yeah, the Ang Lee one was, yeah.
And the reason why, I wouldn't say I absolutely loved it, but I definitely more than that. I thought it was a great film. I'll leave it at that. But I'm a huge Hulk fan. Ever since I was a kid, I used to watch the old TV series with Bill Bixby playing David Banner. And the funny thing is, he went by David Banner and didn't go by the comics name Bruce Banner because they thought back in the '70s they thought Bruce was a kind of a homosexual name, and they wanted and they thought David was more of a masculine name, so they had using that. So technically, in sense, it's basically the same characters, different names. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, but anyways,
But they also called him Bruce Banner in the first one, though. So
yeah, they did. But yeah, the Marvel films are more directly with what they named the character in the comics.
so I guess what did you really like?
But yeah,
about
what I really
that
loved,
version?
what I really loved about it was the story was a lot better, of course. There wasn't a lot of silly moments. Remember from like Ang Lee, they had the the dogs that turned into monsters basically had the same genetic formula that was given to them so that they can try to destroy the Hulk. That was kind of silly. But in this one, there really wasn't any silly moments like that. I felt like the Hulk had a a villain that kind of it was toe to toe. He was basically the same strength. I would say the Hulk was definitely smarter in a sense, but I thought it was a good ending the final battle between Hulk and what's his name?
I think that was Abomination.
Abomination, yeah. So.
I think Tim Roth from Pulp Fiction played him. So.
Yeah, and I love the guest star appearance or the cameo by Lou Ferrigno, who played the original Hulk in the TV series. He was the security guard, and Bruce Banner, who was played by Edward Norton, came in and posed as the pizza delivery guy, and there Lou Ferrigno was there. And so it was kind of cool for him to, have a guest appearance or a cameo, if you will. And in the beginning, I don't know if you guys remember the original theme song to the '70s hit, the Incredible Hulk TV show. The theme was entitled "The Lonely Man." I forget who was the composer, but anyways, they actually. I was probably about like 10. They used that same thing about like maybe 20 seconds, 15 seconds, or whatever, but. It was early in the film, like after the chase, and it wasn't Argentina, I believe.
He was well, that's what kind of made this film confusing. He was hiding out like he was at the end of the first Ang Lee Hulk film.
So
people are
like, anyways,
after
the chase, after he got away, then they started to kind of play the Lonely Man themes like do 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 do. They even referenced that in Family Guy where like Stu was like, hey everybody, quick, look, I'm walking, play the sad Incredible Hulk theme.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I love the cameos. There was a great storyline. I love the villains. I thought Edward Norton was a great Bruce Banner, and I thought for the CGI, for the time, I thought they definitely improved on the actual appearance of what the Incredible Hulk looked like, and I thought that there was better character interactions. I thought the love interest was a lot better, and the guy who played the general in the first film was in this one where he played the his daughter was the love interest, so that was the general.
Well, that was the same thing with the first one. It was just different people.
Yeah, it was just basically different people. But I thought there was just better interaction and just overall a better film than Ang Lee. But I think that's just the reason why I enjoyed it. And it also kind of brought up, like I said, nostalgia from when I used to watch the old '70s cartoon as a kid, or '70s show as a kid. So.
Yeah, for me, guys, to tell you the truth, I don't think there's been a good solo Hulk film yet. I didn't really care for the Ang Lee one. I didn't care for this one. I'll even be completely honest. I thought even Eric Bana did a better job than Edward Norton as the Hulk. There's certain things that the Ang Lee film, because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Ang Lee's film did this better than this film, and then this new one did this better than Ang Lee's film did. Yeah, I'll agree. I thought like the goofy moments, like fighting killer poodles, was gone, obviously, and but to be honest, I mean. Villain-wise, here's my problem with the Hulk in general, too. There's too many villains in the Hulk universe, or at least in the Hulk stories, where basically all the villains are just villainous Hulks. There's Hulk's dad, there's Abomination, there's some dude that has a big brain that tries to kill the Hulk who also turns into the Hulk. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like Marvel wasn't really creative when it came to the villains for the Hulk.
I think there's a lot of
And
potential, especially after the adventures that come out, where Mark Ruffalo
and
took
that's
over.
why I'm really hoping that's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be good.
exactly.
Because
But
I'm just so sick of all these villainous Hulks being all these villains in these
well,
movies.
it's funny because, like I said, I was a huge fan of the '70s TV show.
And I wasn't, so I really didn't have that to go off.
There really wasn't any key villains. It was just about guys who were just basically assholes. And he would get angry, or if there was any situation that arose.
See, I think that's really stale. I think
But
that's
for
really
me,
stale,
it was kind of, it was
storytelling.
cheesy, but I just loved it as a kid. But in regards to the Hulk universe in which Marvel can use the character, I mean, I can definitely understand where Tom is coming from.
Because I mean, look at Iron Man, look at Thor, look at even Captain America 2 and all that other stuff. Those had good villains. Those had good storylines. Those had good challenges for those characters. Because Hulk's invincible, there's not really a sense of tense or challenge to the character. Not only that, but I mean, we were talking about conveniences earlier with Ghost Rider 2. How convenient is it that he just removed his own power, then miraculously at the end of the film he becomes the Hulk again to fight the villain? It's like you couldn't have made a cornier ending even if I asked you to.
Well, you remember the scene where he fell out of the helicopter.
But see, that was lazy to me.
And
It's like, I have my Hulk powers again. Wow!
But the funny thing is, he wasn't able to Hulk up, and he hit the ground. So
I don't know. He looked pretty Hulk-like when he landed on that ground to me.
Well, no, I thought in the film, I thought he landed as a human, and then he hulked up because he was like,
Bad
oh crap.
storytelling.
Yeah, but
Bad storytelling.
I thought it was good. I was amused.
I guess just because Iron Man 1 was just so high quality. I mean, with every regard, storytelling, superhero stories, everything. We go into this one, it's like, that's all Marvel did? That's all you guys did?
Well, it was a different superhero. It's a different take.
Yeah, but...
And
hey, look, here's the ghost of Josh. Say hi, Josh. Oh, if you can see him. There's Josh right there.
Oh.
Where the hell were you?
It's The Conjuring. It's his ghost. And so yeah, I guess that's all we got to share for this episode. We only were talking about 4 movies. Two stuff that I like that Seth didn't like, and 2 things that Seth hated that I liked. So hope to see you guys here for a future video.
See you later, guys.